This show makes me want to be in love so bad. It's been a while. Uni has kind of been kicking my butt and I had no time to film a video, but today I came back for a special subject. I have fallen for a show, and as it is customary to do, I decided I would just yell about it on the internet. Today we are here to talk about what everyone on the internet has been raving about, has been talking about everywhere, and that is Netflix news TV show Bridgerton. It has both changed and ruined my life. Am I exaggerating? Maybe. But this show was absolutely amazing and I just need to rant about it, to just talk about it to a camera so that I can maybe move on with my life. And fear not, there will be no spoilers. If you really want to know absolutely nothing about this show, then maybe skip the video, but there's gonna be no spoilers about, what happens, who's Lady Whistledown and whatnot. So let's start with the beginning. I think the first trailer came out in November. Was it November? What is time anymore? I don't know, but let's go with November. So the trailer came out in November and what it told us was Gossip Girl meets Pride and Prejudice. If that's not enough to sign you up, then what is? Because it definitely was enough for me and I was just so ready for it. Scandal and romance, pretty gowns and strong female characters, handsome male lead, and really interesting plot. Like, it has just had everything to make me happy as, a history major, but also as someone who just loves romance because she doesn't have any in her life, and all of that. I'm a history major, so anything historical I'm kind of down for it and I'm always super interested in. But what I really liked about this one was how fresh it felt, how unique, how optimistic and happy and joyful it was, bright and colorful. Most historical shows can sometimes be a bit bleak or depressing or just sad. I mean, I love The Duchess, for example, but you kind of are just sad at the end of it. As for Bridgerton, it's very scandalous. It's Gossip Girl meets Pride and Prejudice, basically, yeah. So that's what I really like about Netflix, is that they give money to cool projects that are kind of unique, even though, Netflix does have a type, but it's just really interesting to see. And even more, Netflix understands what the younger generations want. We are all very connected and we are all very aware of our society's issues. And Netflix is very good at understanding that and catering to that, and with that comes a diverse cast. I love how Netflix finally gave a place for people of color to shine, and they often do this with their various TV shows. But in historical TV shows, it's even more rare to see people of color be in main leads or be in, the elite, the noble kind of roles. So it was really interesting to finally see some. I believe it was our main lead who plays Simon the Duke of Hastings, Regé-Jean Page, I believe I said that right. He did say himself that it was really nice to be able to play a main role in a historical drama as a person of color himself, because often, especially black characters are often depicted as, in difficult situations or always suffering, and he basically said that it was nice to finally be able to play someone who's a duke, who is literally among the higher ups of this TV show, who is among the most important, famous, richest characters in our TV show. And it was really interesting to see in Bridgerton a very diverse cast, and there was just no question of color, of race, or whatever. It was just very interesting and very nice. The Queen herself is played also by a person of color, so it was just very nice and refreshing and interesting. Moving on, let's talk about historical accuracy. So I am no specialist, but I interest myself quite a little bit in just general historical accuracy, and I watch a lot of costumers on YouTube and Instagram, so I interest myself in the question of historical accuracy quite a lot. For example, I know that Enola Holmes was a complete disaster in terms of historical accuracy, in terms of hair and makeup and dresses, so I was curious about Bridgerton. I do know that in the first episode, the scenes with the corsets where she's technically bleeding or they really pulling really tightly is kind of a misconception from what I understood, and isn't actually accurate to how women would wear corsets in the 19th century. That said, I am no specialist and I'm sure there are already videos out there about people talking about it. What I thought was interesting with Bridgerton is it historically accurate or not? feels like it matters less than it can in other TV shows and other movies. Bridgerton kind of sets itself apart from all these criteria of historical accuracy. For example, you will have a string quartet who will play like Thank You Next by Ariana Grande or Bad Guy from Billie Eilish, so there's already kind of a very design choice, if I can say so. Like, for example, the whole Gossip Girl aspect of it is already very unique and very unusual. I mean, it is based on a book, but the whole way they depict this society feels very modern, and it doesn't necessarily bother me. So what I can tell is that Bridgerton took a lot of liberty, made a lot of design choices with their show, so I have no idea if the gowns, if the hair, if the makeup, if even the characters would be historically accurate, but it doesn't matter because this show gives itself a modern vibe anyway, and it owns up to it. It doesn't necessarily take you out of the show if it's historically inaccurate or if it doesn't make sense because of the modern vibe of it. More than that, we also have feminist undertones, which I personally love as a feminist myself and as, you know, always fighting for women's cause. So it is very interesting to see very strong female characters. For example, we have the sister of our main character, Eloise Bridgerton, who constantly complains about the space society gives to women compared to men. She makes a stand of not wanting to marry, of wanting to be educated over just making a good marriage. So it's very interesting to see these strong female characters. Even our main character, Daphne, makes a lot of very important stand when she complains that her brother doesn't take her opinion to account just because she's a woman. And Daphne is as perfect as society could want her, and even her is a very strong female character, which is so interesting to see. In that sense, I feel like it kind of really does fit the Pride and Prejudice vibe, because we know that Elizabeth Bennet is also quite, you know, a strong female character who owns up to her own personality and fights for what she wants. Now, my area of study is ancient Greece and ancient Rome, so I don't know too well like English 19th century society, so I can't really judge if it's very historically accurate or not, even the stand they make, the characters and whatnot, the relationships between brothers and sisters. But nonetheless, it really just doesn't matter because of the modern feel of it, and it's just nice to see strong female characters just fighting for themselves, finding a way to survive in this world of men, and it's so fresh and uninteresting and just nice to watch. Onto the acting, which I also really enjoy. Netflix has a way of taking small/unknown actors to put them as main leads in their TV show, such as, for example, The Queen's Gambit. It's really interesting because it allows you to dive even more into the story and fall for the characters and their personality even more, because you don't connect them to previous roles they could have had in the past, which I find really interesting and really cool. And the acting seemed quite good from my viewer's perspective. Like, our main lead, Regé-Jean Page, seemed to be quite good at what he was doing, and he was quite handsome too, and his stare could just... oh god, the way he looks at Daphne, like, just please have mercy of me. And I don't think I'm the only one who enjoys him and his acting and his just gorgeous face, because I followed him on Instagram a few days ago and he was at 450,000 followers, and since then it has nearly doubled and he's almost at 850,000 followers, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the time I upload this he has reached 1 million, and I'm really curious to know what was his follower count before Bridgerton aired. This is really interesting, and I think like Netflix really set us up for this thirst trap, and we just all collectively jumped in for it and are kind of happy about it, and yeah, thank you Netflix. Now onto our main female lead, which is Phoebe Danover. I believe I pronounced that right, I hope. She was also really good and I really enjoyed her acting, and I think just her characters was a bit annoying at some point, but in terms of acting she was really good, and she had really good, I think, hand gestures and hand mannerism. At some point she like puts on a glove and a second later takes it off again because she's very nervous and very overwhelmed by a lot of thoughts. So I thought she was really quite good at acting and it was really interesting to watch. So I really enjoyed that. So the whole Bridgerton cast and the whole Bridgerton family and everyone was just so lovable, and you could really fall for the characters, and it was really interesting, and I thought they were really just all quite good, and I just enjoyed everyone's acting very much. Now I will admit there was a couple of times in the last 2 episodes where between Simon and Daphne, I wasn't super convinced by the acting. Now, I don't know if it's the script, if it's just, the time they had to film the scenes and the time, just the scene, how long it was. So there was a couple of times where I was kind of like taken aback by the scenes and I wasn't necessarily super convinced, but it was nothing too bad and I just generally really enjoyed it, and it was just, a few hiccups that didn't really take me out of the story too much, so it wasn't anything too serious. Honestly, I could gush about this show for hours. I loved everything about it, like the gowns, the characters, the sets, just everything was awesome. I even dressed prettily today. I don't even know if you can see my jacket with the whole like light contrast, but I even dressed pretty today and fancy just to film this video, so just to tell you how much I loved it. As I was saying before, all the characters are so lovable and you just fall for the story and fall for these characters and root for them, all of them almost. It was just really an awesome show. I do fear we'll have to wait for 2022 for season 2, and I'm just... do I have the patience? I don't have a choice. I've already waited a whole year for the season 2 of The Witcher, so I'll be able to survive, but I'm really excited to see what season 2 will give us, especially with how season 1 ended. For everyone who watched, it was really very interesting and very surprising, so I'm really quite curious to see how the story's gonna go and how we're gonna like follow our main characters through other adventures, but I'm definitely very excited. Now, we're getting to the end of this video. I just, wanted to rant about this show, but if you've watched it, who's your favorite characters? What was your favorite scene? I think my favorite scene was the first dance between Simon and Daphne at the end of episode 1, especially because of the song We Could Form an Attachment. Just mind blown. The music from this show was also so good, and I'm really curious, what you thought about this show, if you liked it, if you had a few like problems with it, if you had criticism, like let me know in the comments. I'm very curious and I would love to talk about it with more people. Now, if you haven't watched it, I hope this video convinced you to try, even if you're not a history fan. Like, it's super interesting to watch, and it's just very modern and joyful and entertaining, and it's just a very fun thing to watch. It really was a great watch, contrary to my cursed review from July, which I was very disappointed about. This time Netflix really did not disappoint me, and I'm so happy about this show. I'm so excited for season 2, and it was awesome. With that said, I guess I will leave you to it. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a while. I'm gonna make more books video. I have a lot planned and I just need to find the courage in me to edit, but we'll see about that. I hope you have a very nice day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Just, how can you not fall for a show when this is the main song? This show makes me want to be in love.